Hello, everyone. I have a very special assignment for the entire school this week. We are going to be making instruments out of recycled materials. Now, some of you might have already done this. I usually do this project in the second grade, but in our current situation, I thought it would be a lot of fun if the entire school got to make instruments out of recycled materials. So this is actually for grades K through 5. And this project does happen to be due on May 25th. So let's talk a little bit about our instrument families before I demonstrate to you what exactly making instruments out of recycled materials mean. So instruments, again, many of you know this already. You've done this in the second grade, and we've gone over to the third grade and the fourth grade and a bit in the fifth grade. And if you're in kindergarten and first grade, you're going to be learning this a little bit more in the second grade. But for now, just try to kind of stay with me, okay? So instruments are broken into families, kind of like we have moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and uncles and aunts in our own family. We resemble each other in some way or another, right? So my son might have some of my characteristics. He might have my personality or my smile, but he might like things that are also different than me, right? Well, same thing with instruments in instrument families. And instrument families are broken into 4 different groups. You have your woodwind family, which, yes, usually use a piece of wood, and they also use your wind to blow into it, right? You'll notice that most of the instruments in the woodwind family are nice and straight and kind of skinny, right? With the exception of the saxophone, which kind of curves out. Saxophone's actually not part of the orchestra, which is one of our biggest units when we do it in the second grade. But the instruments we do talk about is the flute, the clarinet, the oboe, and the bassoon. These are the instruments of the woodwind family. So again, they usually use a piece of wood named a reed, and you use your wind to blow into it. Again, they're skinny and straight, and they have their keys. They have like kind of like a row of buttons all the way down, which if you play them, you will have different notes. Think about the recorder fourth graders. It's the same basic idea. The more holes you cover up, the lower your sound is going to be. The less holes, the higher your sound is going to be as well. Then we have our brass instruments, which is right next to it. We have our trumpet and our tuba, our French horn, and our trombones. Brass instruments are made out of brass. It's why they're called brass instruments. Brass is a type of metal, okay? So that is why they are called brass instruments. You'll notice the similarities that they all have. They're all kind of curved, almost like circular or oval shaped. You need a lot of breath to blow into one of these brass instruments. They all use something called a mouthpiece on the top. And they have valves, okay, which kind of take the place of the keys and the other instruments in order to play them. They have a more richer, brassier sound than the woodwinds, which are a little bit smoother sounding. Then we have the string instruments. The string instruments you don't blow into at all. In fact, the only thing you really need for it to be a string instrument is, of course, strings, right? It makes sense. We have over here, we have the violin, the viola, which is not pictured. We have the cello, the double bass or the string bass, the harp, and those are our instruments of the orchestra, and they also added in the guitar. The guitar is a string instrument, not part of the orchestra, but of course it has strings, so why would it not be part of the string family, right? Okay, so you do need strings in order to play them. There are different amounts of strings depending on the instrument. For example, the violin, the viola, the cello, the double bass, they all have 4 strings. The guitar, you guys know how many? They have 6 strings, and the harp has a very high 47 strings, ranging from very long strings to very small strings. You're going to have different sounds depending on the size of the string. Let's take a look at our last family. It's the percussion family. This is the one that I use the most in my classroom because unlike the woodwind and the brass where you have to blow into it, we definitely don't want to share germs, especially now. And the string family, which is a little hard to learn, percussion's kind of cool because it's the ones that keep the rhythm. It's the ones that you bang or you shake or you scrape in order to make the sounds. The percussion family has the most amount of instruments, Believe me, they're not even all listed there. I'll just list a couple of them. You have the timpani, triangle, xylophone, snare drum, cymbals, tambourine, but there's also the maracas, there's the wood blocks, there's the sticks that we use a lot in my classroom. There's lots of different kinds of drums, and those are a lot of fun. But while I'm at the end of kind of talking about my 4 instrument families, I want you to be aware that some instruments that I haven't mentioned yet are actually part of more than one family. I'm going to give you an example, and this is important for when we make our own instruments. The piano. Think about the piano. Which family does the piano go into? Not the keyboard. The keyboard is a totally different, separate thing because I need to plug into the keyboard. I need to plug that into an outlet, right, in order for it to make a sound. No power, no sound. But a piano doesn't need that. So what families do you guys know? All right, well, one of the families happened to be percussion. Think about it. I'm not blowing into it, right? In fact, when I play, I'm using my fingers to press down on the keys. So I'm actually almost in that banging kind of way, okay? I would never bang on the piano aggressively or forcefully, but I would definitely play with my different fingers, and those would bang down on the keys. And if I opened up my piano and I took a little tiny peek inside, I would notice that there are strings inside my piano. The strings are kind of like the harp, where they range in different sizes depending on the type of piano you are looking at. I'm thinking of the one in our auditorium. That's called a grand piano. Think about it, the way it's kind of like to have that really sleek, black, fancy shape, right, that you would see at an orchestra. I love the piano in the auditorium. And all the strings inside the piano are different sizes. And then there's a little hammer, right? So when I play down on a key, that hammer, bum, it actually hits the string. And the string vibrates. See, strings rely on that vibration for it to make a very clear sound. Same thing with our string family, our guitar, harp, cello, double bass, violin, viola. Those instruments rely on vibrations. Certain percussion ones too, making the piano both string family and percussion. Because the instruments that you guys make today, you're going to have to categorize. You're going to have to tell me, is it a woodwind? Is it a brass? Is it a string? Is it percussion? Maybe it's a combination. Maybe it's a combination of woodwind and percussion. Maybe I can blow into it and kind of hit it at the same time. Maybe I can strum my strings while I'm banging or shaking it. So you might have an instrument that fits more than one category, and that is totally fine. So I'm going to go through all 4 categories and kind of give you some examples, some ideas on how you can make your own instruments out of recycled materials. Okay, so for the string family, all you need are some strings, but I don't have those kind of strings, so I'm going to use these babies instead. You know what these are, right? Yep, these are rubber bands. Rubber bands make a perfect string. Oh, believe me, I'm not looking for you guys to go to any musical store and to buy strings, okay? In fact, and I'll repeat it a few times during this presentation, you don't have to buy anything at all for this. Everything that we're doing today has to do with what you already have in your own house, okay? Strings make the best percussion instruments. So say that I just take plastic container, right? And I put my strings. I have 2 different types of strings. I have a thinner string and I have a little bit, thicker of a string. I'm going to put them both around my plastic container. And if you listen, pretty cool, huh? So look at that. I made a string instrument in like 2 seconds, right? All I needed to do was take some rubber bands. You can hear it. You can hear it and you can listen. And you can actually hear the string, or the rubber band in this case, vibrating. Now, wait a second. Listen to that again. You'll notice what? That they have different sounds, right? Well, this could be caused by a couple of different things. And this is kind of what I want you to experiment with. The thicker the string, you're probably going to get a lower of a sound. The smaller the string, you're probably going to get a higher of a sound. This can, however, be changed by how tight or how loose your string or rubber band is. So if, say that I take my thick one and I kind of tug at it a little bit. Now I made it kind of tight, nice and taut. Listen. Right? The tighter I make my rubber band without snapping and hurting myself, of course, the higher my sound is going to be. Now, I use this on a plastic container, but I don't have to if I don't want to. I can actually use, oh, this is a nice big box for this, right? But I can actually use a box as well. And you will have a different quality of sound. The one thing that actually makes the best sound I don't have here at home is actually styrofoam. Terrible for the environment, but actually really cool for making musical instruments. So if you have styrofoam, you'll actually get a better echoey sound, which is kind of fun. So if you're interested in making a string instrument, all you really need is some sort of container and rubber band. All right, our next family is the brass family. No, I don't have a whole bunch of brass, and I don't have any kind of metal lying around, but I do have this, right? This is just a tube, paper towel, toilet, okay? Nice and clean, of course. All my garbage should be nice and clean. It shouldn't have, spaghetti scraps on it or, dog food on it. That should just be, regular nice garbage. So we have this, and if I blow into it, doot, 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 fantastic. I can do that, sure, but I can also do this. You see the difference in my cheeks? I'm not humming this time. I'm not going like do 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 like the first time. I'm going because I told you that brass instruments need a lot of air. So what I can also do is I can take a piece of paper. I can wrap up my nice tube over here. Whoop, and let me grab just a tiny bit of tape. Tape works very, very well for these instruments. Glue does not. It takes a really long time to dry and is probably not even going to come out that good. So I definitely recommend tape. If you don't have any kind of tape, I really, any type is good. I use just like regular packing tape. I find this works the best. But masking tape, painter's tape, if you really don't have anything, Scotch tape, okay? The heavier your objects, the harder it's going to be to tape. So you might want to take that into consideration. But check it out. And I have my own brass instrument, right? I didn't even need metal. So, ta-da, brass instrument. The next one, woodwind family. You guys are going to like this one. Again, just for the woodwind family, remember I said that they were nice and skinny and straight? Well, so is this. I don't know if you guys can kind of see. I put it near the camera. Aha, now you can see. It's a straw, right? Good. So all I need is a straw for this one. So if you have a straw at home, great. Again, if you don't, that's okay. You don't have to do this. But this is a lot of fun. Don't tell your parents, but it's going to be kind of annoying to them. So if you really want to annoy them, this is a good one to do. I've lost my scissors. Sorry, guys. Here I go. So I have my scissors now. These are nice and sharp scissors. Please be very careful no matter what supplies you use, okay? We always want to be safe no matter what. If you don't feel like you're doing something safe, probably not a good idea. Actually, while I'm talking about that, I also never recommend anything glass whenever you're making anything because all you need is it to fall off, roll off, shatter into a billion pieces. Getting cut by glass is not fun, so please, please, you can't go to a hospital right now, so please don't use glass, okay? So I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to actually cut off just that little accordion piece of mine. I'm just going to get rid of that. So now I just have my straw. I'm going to take one end of my straw, and I am going to flatten this baby out. I'm flattening it really, really tight, okay? I'm going to flatten just one end. I'm not going too crazy, just one end. And now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut one end off and I'm going to turn it around and cut the other end off. Don't worry, I'm going to show you that again in a second. But if you take a look at it now, kind of looks like a little duck. Okay, it looks like it's going to go quack, 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 quack. Okay, so as I cut my straw, you'll see it's almost triangular at the top. Okay, see how I cut it? It's a little curved. Not sure why, probably just the way I pressed it down. And then I'm going to take that duck, a little duck beak, I'm going to put it into my mouth. Not working yet. Don't worry, don't worry. This actually took me a really long time to do the first time I learned it. And some of you, it is going to take a while to figure this one out if you try it. Don't get frustrated. It's okay. Pretty cool, right? And look at that. That is my woodwind instrument. I like to think of woodwind instruments as almost sounding like a little duck, so it's kind of appropriate. It's almost like going like quack, 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 right? It's a lot of fun to do if you are patient enough to try to figure it out. I like to kind of hold it a little bit by the tip while I'm blowing into it. I do feel like that helps my airflow. If you have holes in your straw or it's too coming apart, it's not going to work. It needs to be a nice, pretty clean straw. No water in it, nothing liquidy inside of it. So definitely like a new straw. And you're basically cutting it almost like you're cutting like a triangle at the top, okay? When I do this in my classroom, a lot of people have trouble, okay? So I'm telling you, if you're having trouble, ask an adult, ask a parent for help, okay? And if they cannot do it, that's okay. It's all right? Try to figure it out. I'm going to show you just one more time pretty quickly on the other side, just so you have an idea. So again, I flatten out one side. I take my scissors, and I'm just cutting a triangle. So I'm cutting almost like one end going up, then I flip it around, I do the other end going up, and my other side needs to be flat. And then I all right, and there you have your woodwind instrument. All right, so percussion instrument is probably the easiest one and the most fun to actually make because there's so many different options. My favorite option is just taking something dry like pasta or rice, okay? Again, I'm not cooking it. This is not for dinner, okay? It needs to be a nice dry object. And if I just take my other plastic container that I had my strings on before, give it a little shake. Look at that. I can create my own rhythm with it, right? Definitely, I probably want to cover on this. I recommend pasta more than rice because rice, if it goes all over the place, it does make a mess, okay? So if you are making a mess, please make sure that you clean up after yourselves. So we have this. I can also bang something. Now this is a spoon, an old spoon, one that was pretty much I was getting rid of, okay? I like it because I like to show you guys the different materials, the different textures I can use. I use plastic, metal, pasta, wood, boxes. This one's a wooden spoon, so you hear the difference. Not too much of a difference, this one. Let's see what they sound like together. Totally different sound, right? Depending on what you hit, here's my box again. Depending on what you hit, you'll have different sounds. Other things that are kind of fun are textured items. Like this was just in a candy box, and you can see how they all like have little holes. Scraping. So you'll actually have a different sound depending on that. You could also fill this up. You could tape them with different items inside, give it a shake, okay? There's lots of different things you can do. And percussion is probably the most widest amount of different creative ideas you can do. But that's up to you. I've made in the past, I've connected instruments. So like I'll make like a brass one, and I'll make one, and then I'll put them together. And look at that. Oh, look what I'm doing. So I'm making brass, strings, and percussion, right? Look at that. See, look at that. I wasn't thinking about it. I just did it. I was just trying to use my creativity, okay? So I can... All right. So I have a couple of different things. And now you got that too. So look at that. So if I was using this instrument, I would say that this instrument was brass, strings, and percussion. Okay, and we're going to get back to that in a little while, what your task is going. So what you need, very simple. Recycled materials. Think cereal boxes, milk jugs. Make sure that they are clean and dry. Okay. You don't want the milk inside to get kind of stinky. Same thing with water bottles. Make sure that they are dry before you use them, especially before you put like rice or macaroni in it. They do get nasty. Okay. So everything should be very dry and very clean. Depending on what instrument you want to make, you're going to need different materials. So I listed them, but you might not need every single thing on this list, and that's okay. So if you are interested in string instruments, you use rubber bands. Dry macaroni or rice for percussion. I've also, some people who didn't have that, stones from like outside are good. Again, nice and clean. I would clean them off first, okay? Sticks you could use if you're just finding something. You could use almost anything, okay? Just be creative. Be creative how you want to do it. Straw, like I said, straw, like if I was making my woodwinds. Paper towel tube. The longer the better. Toilet paper is fine, but you might not get as elongated of a sound. Tape, like I said, any kind of tape, but especially like packing tape, masking tape, painter's tape, scotch tape, glue sticks. You're probably, depending on what you're making, I wouldn't really trust it too much. I never use glue when we're doing this in the classroom. Anything else you can think of to make your project creative? You want to decorate it? You want to design it when it's done? I've seen kids use like this decorative tape around it, which is kind of cool. They make it look beautiful. I've had kids do markers and draw pictures on it and design it. Fantastic, absolutely. And again, I said it before, but don't buy anything for this project. This is all about using what you already have in the house. All right, so I want you guys to watch me, Mr. B and Mr. D. We're going to make some instruments of our own for you, so enjoy.
Okay guys, so now we're going to be making our instruments. I have been collecting for, well, a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and I have a whole bucket over here of just different recyclable things. Some plastic, some paper. I like to make a big mess when we're working. Got some soda bottles. We got a whole bunch of trash here. Look, I got some detergent bottles, candy containers. There you go, okay? So right now, we are just going to use the materials that are here. All of these things could have easily been put into my recycling container, but instead, we're going to be creative. We're going to reuse them. We're going to redo them, make them into something kind of cool, our instruments. All right, guys, you ready? Yep. All right, let's get started. Okay guys, so now that we have completely made our instruments out of recycled materials, we're going to tell you a little bit about them, and that's kind of what I'm going to want you to do in your own video. I'm going to want you to say your name, first names only are totally fine, and tell me what you made. If you want to name your instrument, that's fantastic, or you can just tell me what instrument families they belong to, okay, family or families. So for example, my instrument over here is 3 different parts. I have the string component, I have a percussion component, and I have my brass component. Okay, so I can do a couple of them at the same time. I don't know about all 3 of them though. All right, and that is my instrument. Take it away, Mr. B.
Okay, so my name is Mr. B, and So I have these two together, and I call it the bango. Kind of like a banjo, but different. So bango, I could bang this, and it's a drum kind of with a maraca. And also, if I have my thumb out and I stroke it along this, that's my string. Then I have it all together.
Nice job, Mr. B. Excellent. All right, Mr. D, why don't you show what you made?
A maraca.
Yeah, so you made a maraca and a drum. So take a look. Let's look at the maraca. All right, go show them how it works. Shake your maraca. Good job. And I'll hold that. And why don't you show them how your drum works? We're going to use it together. Oh, perfect. So we have percussion instruments here. Instruments that you can either shake or hit or scrape. All right, guys. So I'm going to turn it back over to my final slide and just kind of wrap this up for you. Thank you, guys.
Hope you enjoyed that. And now it is your turn. Your job is to make an instrument out of recycled materials. Be creative. There is no wrong way to do this project. Just be careful when using scissors and always ask an adult for help if you need it. Hint, hint to my own children who never ask me for help, and then I find them doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So ask your parents or whoever you live with or whoever's there with you, ask them for help if you need it, okay? When you're done, this is part of the big assignment. You're going to have whoever's again with you take a video of you and your instrument. This time, I want the videos to be nice and short, no more than 20 to 30 seconds, okay? You're going to send it to me again on my email address, abrosky@schools.nyc.gov, or post under the assignment portion in Teams. You don't have to send to both. A lot of people do, and that's okay, but it does get a little confusing because then I'm like, wait a second, you already sent it to me. So when I'm organizing it to make the video, it does get a little confusing. I try very hard to respond to everybody who sends me one, so you know, especially through email. So on Teams, I usually don't get a chance to respond to every single individual, but I try my best. When you're doing your video, you are going to tell me your name and class, the name of your new instruments, what family or families the instrument belongs in. You're going to show me how to play it, okay? So I'll just give you an example. So let me put my instrument back together. I took it apart, but let me put it back together. So I'll kind of show you an example of what I'm looking for in your video. Again, nice and short video. If it's too long, I am going to have to cut it down because I want to make a nice long video of, whoever sends it to me. So if I have, 100 kids or 150 kids send it to me and everyone's sending me a video that's like 2 minutes long, that's just too long. So that's why I have to cut them down. If you make it long, I promise I will watch it. But just when I put it into the video, I might have to cut it, okay? So don't be offended ever if I do something like that. It's just for timing purposes, okay? So I would be like this. Hello, my name is Mrs. Brosky, and I am in class, let's say K-204. This is my instrument. It is called the hornbanger. The family it belongs to is my brass, my strings, and a percussion family, and I play it like this. All right, and that probably took me about 15 seconds to say and to do, okay? And then you would send it to me, and I'll put them all together again. We'll make another video, all right, which are coming out pretty cool. I cannot wait to see what you come up with. And above everything, ladies and gentlemen, have a great time doing this. This is for fun, okay? So no stress out about it. Have a great time. Can't wait to see it.